That was Warren G. Casually letting it slip how Dr. Dre disappears to private islands like a ghost. No cameras, no blogs, no traces. But Dre isn't alone.
And I was like, we're gonna make it. I was like, but how we gonna get there? He said, he got y'all a private jet. I was like, oh. Yeah, okay. It was my first time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So we get on the jet and whatever. I'm on that bitch. I'm like, oh shit. Like this is, you know.
This is what it said.
And it was a real one. It wasn't no like with the propellers and shit. It was a real joint. You know what I'm saying?
From JayZ spending 38 days straight in the air, to Drake's $285 million flying casino, to Kanye West taking 4-mile flights just to avoid traffic, in multi-million-dollar missions nobody was ever supposed to see. This is the hidden world of how rap's richest legends really travel. No TSA lines, no terminals, no witnesses. Let's start at the very top. JayZ, moving like a shadow. Sean Corey Carter. JayZ, Hav, the blueprint. As of 2026, he's sitting on roughly $2.5 billion, making him not just one of the richest rappers alive, but one of the wealthiest entertainers on Earth. And when you got money like that, you don't fly commercial. JayZ's primary ride in the sky is a Bombardier Challenger 850, a $40 million private jet. And here's the crazy part. Beyoncé gifted it to him for Father's Day in 2012. While most dads were unwrapping ties, Hav was unwrapping a flying mansion. We're talking butter-soft leather, a full bedroom suite for transatlantic power naps, and seating for 19 people, so the entire Rock Nation circle can move together untouched. But that's just the warm-up. Jay also keeps a Gulfstream V in rotation, another $40 million bird, and this jet works overtime. In 2024 alone, it logged 291 flights, covering 386,000 miles, the equivalent of 38 days non-stop in the air. A full month of JayZ's life spent above the clouds, and nobody noticed. Why? Because every flight is masked behind LLCs and shell companies, keeping paparazzi and trackers guessing every single time. And Hav doesn't just use these jets for himself. Scrappy once revealed that Jay sent a private jet just to fly him and Lil Jon to a show in Atlanta. No commercial tickets, no waiting, no questions. That's how Hav moves. But when JayZ wants to truly vanish, he leaves the sky. He charters mega yachts like the 350-foot Lana, costing $2 million per week, or the 450-foot Flying Fox, a $400 million beast that runs $4 million a week. These aren't boats, they're floating fortresses, helipads for jet-to-yacht transfers, private cinemas, spas, staff under strict NDAs. In 2021, Beyoncé's birthday celebration aboard the Flying Fox was so locked down that every single person on board signed a non-disclosure agreement. Nothing leaked, nothing surfaced, total silence. That's billionaire stealth. Now let's talk about someone who took private aviation and turned it into a flex. Drake. Aubrey Graham, net worth around $250 million in 2026, owns what might be the most famous private jet on Earth, Air Drake. This isn't a jet, it's a fully customized Boeing 767, valued at $185 million, with another $100 million in upgrades. Originally a cargo plane, gifted by Cargojet in 2019, Drake turned it into a flying palace. 3 private suites, couches that feel like clouds, a full cinema soaked in purple LED lighting, and yes, a custom gambling table for mid-air card games at 40,000 feet. Drake once said he could walk around in his underwear if he wanted. That's how private it is. With a range of 7,200 nautical miles, Air Drake can cross oceans non-stop, but every trip costs between $700,000 and $1 million to operate. Worth it, because secrecy is priceless. He's used 14-minute repositioning flights just to avoid paparazzi in discreet European trips in 2025, where entire crews signed NDAs while Drake recorded music away from the noise. Sometimes, Air Drake lands, and minutes later, Drake vanishes onto a yacht. No sightings, no photos, no headlines. Moving like a mission.
With them, talking to us direct, talking to me and GLC direct.
Then there's Kanye West. Ye. Controversial, unpredictable, still moving like a billionaire. At his peak, Adidas gifted him a double-decker Boeing 747, valued at over $200 million. Bedrooms, a gym, creative spaces, marble bathrooms, because even the bathroom needs a concept. When that jet is too loud, Kanye switches to a Bombardier Global Express or plans multi-million-dollar jet investments he can rent out to elites. In 2022, he made headlines for a 4-mile flight across Los Angeles, literally hopping over traffic. In Saudi Arabia, he used helicopter transfers to avoid ground movement entirely. Even Kanye's vacations feel like classified missions. And finally, Dr. Dre. Andre Romel Young. Worth around $850 million, Dre doesn't own massive fleets. He prefers chartering long-range jets and disappearing quietly.
Took me on a vacation with him. Now, I ain't gonna lie. We had our own private jet, everything. We went out to the islands and like some shit way out in the deep out there.
Warren G described Dre's Bahamas trips like something out of a movie. Jet to small plane, plane to yacht, dolphins swimming alongside, windows open, 84-degree air, and everyone signing NDAs. In 2025, Dre cruised the Mediterranean on the Aya, a 240-foot yacht with a helipad, submarine, spas, and full bar, then quietly chartered it out when he wasn't using it. Luxury becomes business. Silence becomes power. When we talk about rappers who truly value privacy, not as a flex, but as a way of life, and who use their wealth for quiet good instead of loud displays, there's one name that always stands apart. Marshall Bruce Mathers III. Eminem. Slim Shady. As of 2026, M is sitting on roughly $250 million, built off timeless music royalties, shady records, and a catalog that still moves numbers decades later. But unlike most rap billionaires and near billionaires, M doesn't chase attention, he avoids it. Eminem's The Quiet Flight. M's primary aircraft is a Gulfstream G650, valued around $70 million, one of the fastest and longest-range private jets in the world. This thing can fly 7,500 nautical miles at Mach 0.925, just under supersonic speed.
I got on a plane, and I was thinking of this flow in my head, and then all of a sudden the piano started coming to me, and I just kept repeating the melody so I didn't forget it, and I kind of wrote the song on the.
Inside, exactly what you'd expect, and nothing extra. A private bedroom suite, advanced entertainment systems, maximum soundproofing, and above all, privacy. Operating costs can run close to $1 million per major trip, but for M, that price buys something money can't replace: control over his life. And here's what separates him from most artists. Eminem doesn't waste flight time. Legend has it he wrote The Way I Am while flying to Los Angeles to record with Dr. Dre. For M, the jet isn't a flex, it's a workspace. Real-world moments show just how low-profile Eminem moves. In 2024, M quietly landed in Los Angeles for Dre's Walk of Fame ceremony, tracked briefly, then immediately shielded behind proxies and decoys. No crowd, no headlines, no spectacle. Then in 2025, after receiving an urgent call from Detroit about his daughter Haley and baby Elliot, M boarded an emergency flight and vanished completely after landing. No photos, no updates, no leaks. Family comes first. Always. But here's where Eminem truly separates himself from the pack. In 2025, a private jet quietly delivered $3 million in unmarked aid crates to Jamaica after a devastating hurricane. No press release, no Instagram post, no charity gala. Every crew member signed NDAs. Most people never even heard about it. That's Eminem, giving without needing applause, helping without needing credit. When M disappears, Eminem rarely uses yachts, but when he does, it's for total seclusion. In 2025, he reportedly chartered a Mediterranean yacht for family downtime during intense trademark battles and legal stress. No paparazzi shots, no fan sightings, just silence. Funded by shady records, legacy royalties, and decades of consistency, not hype. Snoop Dogg, luxury with smoke. Now let's pivot from quiet discipline to laid-back West Coast luxury.
It's either the moment you niggas gonna kill me, and we're gonna get some clarity in this air. We got a 5.5-hour flight. I ain't got
Snoop Dogg, the Dog Father, Long Beach royalty. As of 2026, Snoop is worth around $160 million, powered by his cannabis empire, Broadus Foods, media ventures, and a legendary catalog. And his travel style? Exactly what you'd expect. Snoop flies on a $50 million private jet, customized for, you guessed it, smoke-friendly sessions. Back in 2015, he got kicked off a flight for smoking. Now, when you own the plane, you make the rules. The jet includes pet accommodations because Snoop brings his dogs everywhere. Operating costs run around $10 million annually, but that's pocket change when you're stacking generational wealth. Smoke, stories, and secrecy. Snoop has openly talked about his early jet experiences, especially those death row days when anything that could happen did. A 2024 flight with his dog went viral, but his actual movements stayed hidden through repositioning flights. In 2025, a Saudi Arabia trip almost turned awkward after jewelry clearance issues, until NDAs locked everything down, and suddenly the dog father was receiving royal treatment. That's Snoop. Float above the chaos. Keep 'em guessing. Stay smiling. For yacht escapes, Snoop charters premium vessels tied directly to his jet routes, sky to sea, no interruptions. All funded by death row ownership, brand deals, and staying authentic longer than almost anyone in the game. Travis Scott, moving like smoke. Now let's shift gears from chill to chaos. Travis Scott, La Flame, one of the most high-energy performers alive, sitting at around $80 million in 2026. Travis operates on speed and secrecy. His primary aircraft, a $72 million Embraer E190, plus a Boeing 767 for global tours. In 2024 alone, his E190 logged 294 flights and over 404,000 miles, nearly circling the Earth 16 times. Customization costs ran over $23 million, with yacht-inspired interiors designed for non-stop movement. Critics slammed his 2-minute repositioning flights, calling them wasteful. But when you're Travis Scott, the jet has to be ready before the show ends. In Montreal, he vanished minutes after a concert. In Sydney, he arrived and disappeared without crowds ever knowing. For privacy, Travis charters $22 million yachts, often using jet-to-sea transitions with his partner to escape the spotlight entirely. Funded by Utopia, Nike deals, and world tours that never slow down. Crown Rick Ross, the biggest boss. Now, let's talk about real boss energy. Rick Ross, William Leonard Roberts II. Net worth?
Never let nobody dictate your desires. I remember it was at one point they used to say, Rose, why would you buy so many cars? You don't have my vision. Now I'm finna put a successful car show together. By the time I put my third one, I've been and made all the money I spent in cars and
$150 million in 2026. Ross flies in a $35 million Gulfstream G550. No chartering, no sharing. This is his throne in the sky. Range, 6,750 miles. Interior, premium everything. Ross once said, "I see visions other people can't." That's the mindset. He threw secret hangar parties in 2025, hosted directly in front of his jet. For sea travel, he uses a $6 million Lamborghini yacht, perfectly matching his lyrics and lifestyle. Every move is an investment. Every flex is calculated. GOAT, Lil Wayne, still flying. Then there's Lil Wayne, a career defined by genius, controversy, and survival. Worth about $170 million in 2026, Wayne's travel history is complicated. Lawsuits, searches, unpaid jet bills. But when Wheezy flies international, he moves like royalty. In Saudi Arabia, customs tried to stop him over jewelry declarations. Wayne turned around, walked back onto his jet, and waited. That's "I own my plane" energy. Controversies followed, including a 2019 raid that found drugs and a firearm on board. But Wayne always lands back on his feet. Gold-plated luxury, no compromises. And finally, the most controversial chapter of all, Sean Diddy Combs, once the symbol of hip-hop's ultimate luxury travel, now a story under heavy scrutiny. At his peak, Diddy's $60 million Gulfstream G550 Love Air logged over 330 flights in a single year, nearly living in the sky. But everything changed, and that's where the story turns darker. That was Diddy, touring his aircraft with pure excitement, a man at the absolute peak of his power, smiling, confident, surrounded with wealth, influence, and silence money can buy. At that moment, everything seemed untouchable. The jet itself became a business, not just a symbol. After his 2024 arrest, the aircraft reportedly generated $4.1 million from 126 charter flights, turning luxury into income even as legal pressure mounted. To the outside world, it looked like smart asset management. Inside the investigation, it told a very different story. When luxury became evidence, here's where the narrative shifts. Federal authorities allege that the same aircraft wasn't just a mode of travel, it was a moving environment. According to filings, freak-off parties allegedly began mid-air, protected by strict NDAs, controlled guest lists, and a culture of silence that extended from the runway into the clouds. What once looked like excess started to look like infrastructure. When law enforcement executed home raids in 2024, the aircraft became central to timelines, movements, and testimony. Suddenly, the aircraft wasn't flex anymore. It was a liability. Then came the moment that changed everything. The jet fled to Antigua. To aviation watchers and investigators, this raised red flags, not as proof of guilt, but as a potential flight risk indicator. By then, the aircraft had logged over 150,000 miles, touching destinations like French Polynesia, Baja, Mexico, Caribbean hubs known for discretion. In several cases, passengers allegedly had no idea who ultimately controlled the aircraft, as ownership was obscured through layered LLCs and charter brokers. The illusion of distance, the illusion of safety, both began to collapse. Then came the fallback plan. By October 2025, everything shifted. The jet was re-registered in San Marino, sold quietly for an estimated $15 to $30 million, routed through charter brokers like Silver Air, distancing it from any visible connection to Diddy. What once symbolized hip-hop's highest altitude was now being scrubbed from the record. No tours, no flex videos, no celebrations, just paperwork. Yachts then and now. Back in the early 2000s, Diddy's yacht culture was legendary. Remember those 2005 MTV ads? Vote or die? Champagne decks, sun-soaked secrecy, jet-to-yacht transfers were part of the brand. Exclusivity elevated to mythology. But in the aftermath of lawsuits, raids, and mounting allegations, those hybrid escapes scaled back dramatically. What once looked like luxury logistics now looked like risk exposure. The cautionary tale. Diddy's story isn't just about downfall, it's about illusion. Because here's the truth. All the jets, all the yachts, all the NDAs, all the secrecy, none of it can outfly the truth forever. What was once funded by Ciroc, Bad Boy Records, an untouchable media empire is now defined by courtrooms, asset sales, and reputational collapse. From king of the skies to a man grounded by consequences. Diddy's legacy now stands as a warning, not just to artists, but to power itself. Luxury doesn't erase accountability, distance doesn't equal escape, and silence eventually breaks. If you enjoyed this breakdown, click the cards on your screen and keep it locked right here. HoodSecrets.